One of these days when I actually have a welcome to your life.
I usually have, you know, one of these.
You would, I sent you that history of the, you know, other histories I've written over the years and stuff. I think you'd be a good venue to,
Yeah, I really just need to set up
Yeah, my husband was an old.
Couple of shots.
He's an older man, but,
in a home, outside.
and he wasn't doing it well, so, you know, you can, but some of it was, it really was the end of an era.
I'm not
You know,
just
in terms of his-
construction.
Right now, right.
Technically, do we still call it to order? You know, we don't have to-
I was just disappointed.
You could call it to order and just, you could just call it and say,
Yeah,
due
we
to
know
lack
it's
of
because
quorum,
but we're still gonna
we're just gonna still proceed, that's all. I mean, I don't know if you wanna, you don't
Department
even,
presentations, the mayor will be here.
I mean, I don't even know if you wanna do a roll, or
Well,
not,
actually, when you,
not
last
even,
you
Yeah.
you don't even have to really, do you? I
You
never,
might as well
you could do it just so you know, and then you can say, do you wanna start, or?
Is it time? It's time, okay.
Okay, hold on one second.
Begin the reading.
Surely.
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law. Certain portions of it may be closed to the public for the purpose of personnel and/or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Decisions made and/or discussed in closed session will be made known to the public at a later date. All contracts awarded by mayor and council must comply with the affirmative action requirements of PL 1975 C-127. And fire exits are located here and there. In case of fire, be notified via we'll announce it, and please move calmly and orderly to the nearest fire or smoke-free exit. So we're told tonight, 3 members of council cannot be here tonight. The mayor will be here later, so no decisions will be made, but we will hear the presentations and move forward in that fashion.
Wanna do, yeah, no more.
Sorry. So do,
Wanna
we'll
do a roll anyway,
do a
just in
roll.
case? Councilwoman Story? Here. And Councilman Kelly is absent, Councilman Rossi, Councilman Neal is absent, Councilman Petrosky.
Here.
And Councilman Shipley.
Here.
1, 2, 3.
Take over?
Yes, sir. And
Okay, just as was stated for the record, yes, we know we don't have a quorum. We are gonna proceed with the budget presentations. We have a couple departments here tonight. We weren't making any official decisions anyway. The departments were just doing their 5-year presentations for tonight. And 2 members had family issues and 1 member is in school taking an exam. And the mayor is at the county freeholders meeting and will be here hopefully by 7:10, 7:15, he said. He's going for a presentation, I believe, for a grant or award we're receiving, so he will be here. Okay, to start off, we have DPW going. And in their 5-year plan, they're requesting, I'm just gonna read through it and then I'm gonna let Mark talk about it. They're requesting 2 Ford F-550 Mason dump trucks with plows for $140,000. 1 Caterpillar 420 backhoe loader for $150,000. That's for 2016 request. 2017 is a roll-off container truck for $240,000. 2018 is a street sweeper for $220,000. 2019 is a tree truck for $270,000. And 2020 is a tree chipper for $70,000 and a stump grinder for $70,000. So, why don't you start talking about, Mark, your 2016 request. You can briefly touch on 17, 18, 19, and 20, but obviously we know those aren't set in stone. It's just we're trying to start developing a plan. So.
Okay, fine. The backhoe that we would like to replace is 26 years old. In the winter, when we use it to load salt into the spreaders, the door has to be kept open because the exhaust from the motor comes into the cab. And when you're operating the backhoe with the bucket, which is in the front, and when you need to turn around and operate the backhoe that digs, The seat's supposed to turn around, it's stationary, it doesn't turn around. Mark looked at it, but it can't be fixed. So in order to do digging, your chest is resting on the top of the seat. And it's very awkward and not safe to use. The two mason dumps that I'm asking for, one is 17 years old. Last year, we used it to pick up some asphalt to do patching, and we had to put 2 sheets of plywood on the bed because the bed is rotted through. And the other one is 16 years old that we'd like to replace. The past couple of years, we talked briefly about a roll-off truck. It would benefit the town in the winter for snow removal. And I went back about 5 or 6 years and counted the amount of switches that we made at the yard when they bring an empty container and take away the full one, and they would charge $165 per switch. And over the course of about 7 or 8 years, the town would save close to $100,000 by having their own truck. So in essence, the truck will pay for itself. This past winter, with the big snowstorm that we had a contract out for container trucks for snow removal. I think we spent, what, about 15 or 20,000, something like
Yeah,
that?
between we had one main company and then another one too, so probably around 20,000 overall.
Our street sweeper is 15 years old. Sweepers usually last about 10 years. The condition that it's gonna be in next year, we don't know, so we might have to flip-flop the sweeper and the roll-off truck. And our tree truck in 2019 will be 24 years old. And in 2020, our chipper will be 23 years old, and the stump grinder will be 21 years old. So.
In 19,
Excuse me?
in 19 or?
19, the tree truck will be 24 years old. In 2020, the chipper will be 23 years old, and in 2020, the stump grinder will be 21 years old. So this whole list is basically replacing ancient equipment except for the roll-up truck. Any questions?
Just with, on the 16 part with the backhoe and the mason dumps, I mean, that's a necessity with storm removal also? I mean,
Yes,
otherwise-
because in the winter, we have 4 spreaders on the truck. These 2 trucks are being, if Mayor and Council allows us to purchase them, they're gonna be purchased without spreaders. We have an older spreader in the yard that the mechanic said he could retrofit to one of these trucks. So we're saving money on not buying spreaders. And this past winter, with these trucks being so old, when the spreaders were on the trucks, we didn't have a mason dump to pick up other things, because the spreaders were on the trucks.
And I mean, the backhoe, I think, was self-sufficient once you mentioned exhaust in the cab.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dangerous, yeah.
Yeah.
And also the newer backhoe, because the old backhoe, it was very tired and weak. And this new backhoe, if we have another big snowstorm, could be used also for the snow removal.
Because last year, didn't you have to rent
We
one?
rented one for a week, yes.
And this backhoe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you explained to me, was a 4-wheel drive
It's
backhoe?
4-wheel drive backhoe, it's a Caterpillar. It will be here long after we're gone.
And the 2 mason dumps, they're 4-wheel drives?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. The only thing with the mason dumps is we're gonna retrofit them with plows, but no spreaders.
But they're definitely 4-wheel drives?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And you're better off with 2 smaller ones instead of 1 big one,
What?
the dump trucks?
We don't have a need for a 6-yard, you know, we last,
I mean, I know most of our streets are narrow,
Yeah,
so,
well,
you know, with that
we have-
issue, but,
we don't have any hills.
okay.
So, you know, last year we got rid of 2 6-yard mason dumps that were really never used in the 3 years that I've been here. And I don't feel a need, you know, a 6-yard mason dump is gonna cost well over $100,000. And, you know, we don't have the hills or the, you know, that you would require something like that.
Anybody else have anything on Public Works? Okay, I'm just gonna ask you to stay for the next 2
Sure.
real quick with, next categories in your packet is packet B. Section B. That's the buildings and grounds, 5-year plan. We have the buildings and grounds requesting $50,000 for each year over the next 5 years. Sidewalks, we're requesting $50,000 in 16, 18, and 20. And trees, we're requesting 2017, $20,000, and 2019, $20,000. We still have some existing tree money from last year that we haven't fully used. We have the $10,120 grant, and we matched it with $10,120. We still have at least $10,000 for trees if needed this year.
At this moment, we don't have any requests for trees like we did last year.
And the sidewalks, obviously, everybody knows, it's only the ones that are affected from borough trees that we replace and do. So we want to get, we got pretty close to getting caught up, but we want to just stay on top of any issues. I don't know if you have the big list now, but
No,
we actually
we don't have a big, we have a
we
list,
have
but
no
not,
existing sidewalk
not
money
like
right now,
last year.
so, that's what we're looking for there. And buildings and grounds, we have a couple of issues. At the Casano Center roof, we've got several leak areas.
there's also damage in the front because the gutters that are on the building are too big. Should have been the 4-inch. With
Okay.
the weight of the snow, you know, it's pushing down the fascia board.
Okay, so I guess we need gutters with the roof there.
Casano Center too.
Yes.
And then also, the library bathrooms, we already spoke about under the library. If you go forward with that, I'd probably like to group that library bathroom money under buildings and grounds money, so it all works hand in hand. One runs a little over, one runs, it all works together there. And then also, there's an issue in the police department.
Police, the men's locker
Men's
room.
locker room has some drainage issues and,
Walls, the sheetrock needs to be fixed. What we're gonna do is run tile 4 feet up the wall, so it's not just sheetrock that's painted in the locker room. It'll last
we
for
have
us
some,
that
we have
long.
some issues going on there, so that have to be addressed. And also under buildings and grounds, it's not on here, I apologize, I got just a verbal, I know it's been talked about with the siren, the fire siren, about potentially moving it back here. Still don't have all details. A rough estimate, and I'm leaning on the higher side because we're still even trying to find out if it's a state contract or if we have to have bid specs prepared. And obviously we need some expertise help in that area, so we're gonna estimate it at about $50,000 right now. It's not on here, I apologize, but I just got a verbal, nothing in writing yet, so. And the other factor that we don't even know about, we would have to talk to the cell company, because they're actually the owners of the pole, but they've let us put communication equipment up there, that it might not be able to be on the pole on this building because of vibration that would affect our regular radios, but possibly the OEM building has a tower, so that all still has to be worked out and figured out, but just so we have a rough idea right now for that. And then obviously the buildings and grounds money too is basically, God forbid we lose a boiler, air conditioner, major repair, we have something to fall back on and not have to declare an emergency in the budget. Anybody have any questions on that part?
Is any of the boilers that you know real old?
Not that I'm aware of.
Can you?
I mean, the best of my knowledge, most of the units, the AC part of it has been brought outside. You know,
Okay.
that's why you see them all on the wall there.
Right.
As far as I know, but I don't want to say
Oh,
it
go
because
ahead.
you know that's the jinx.
Yeah, right.
Things seem to be working okay right now.
But do you know of any that are real old, that were,
Not that I can think of.
okay, okay, fine.
I think the oldest one, I think, was the library, when we had that energy grant, they replaced that through there. But I think everything else, you know, as far as I know.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
All right, and Mark, just have one more section with the engineering, because I know Mark and Tom, the engineer, drove the streets. They were given the existing list from last year to see if we needed to change the order in any which way. We're gonna start out, we have a DOT grant for West Colfax Avenue Phase 3, which is from Locust Street to Chestnut Street. We have a $180,000 grant, roughly looking at $342,000 for the total project. Park Place CDBG grant for $160,000 for the grant. It's from West Webster Avenue to West Clay Avenue, and that total project's roughly around $229,000. Larch Street from West Colfax Avenue to West Lincoln Avenue. We got awarded from the Union County Infrastructure Municipal Aid Grant $50,000. That project you're looking at roughly $184,000. Pine Street would be the first one from the list, and I know that was moved up a little bit for the condition of the road. And that's Pine Street from West Colfax Avenue to West Roselle Avenue. You're looking at $195,000. Prospect Street from East Roselle Avenue to Roselle Park border. We're looking at about $230,000, and we're showing that in 2017. Camden Street from Route 28 to East Grand Avenue. Hopefully we might be able to apply for a DOT grant on that. We're looking at about $356,500. Then into 2018, Sheridan Avenue from East Westfield Avenue to Dead End, $143,750, and Hemlock Street from East Clay Avenue to East Grand Avenue, $166,750, and Sherman Avenue from East Colfax Avenue to East Lincoln Avenue, $195,500. In Madison, we still left it on there, but the patchwork that DPW did last year seems to be holding well, but we'll leave it there just in case. Madison Avenue from Sherman Avenue towards Pershing Avenue. And that was just like half a street or less to repair that section of the roadway that crumbled. We also have for this year improvements to Aldine Park, which is Phase 5. And we also applied for a Cassano Community Center ADA wellness equipment in the backyard area. We were awarded $60,000 grant. Total project's $353,000. I think we're going to have to trim that a bit. So I believe we're allowed to, but I just want to confirm with the county. I think the best bet is to, before we start the Cassano Center, is just finally finish the park. And I believe this would be the last phase of it. So we probably, I think it's around 78,000 we'd be able to remove if we can do that, but I just want to make sure the 60,000, usually they give us the flexibility with the county grant, whichever project we decide to do first.
What else are they doing to Alvin Park?
Ken, is all the lines done?
Yes.
The lines were done, I spoke to Tom today, but apparently they have to patch an area that they didn't fix,
Okay.
so. Because there's a puddle, so
Close to the corner
we were
of.
made aware of that, and
I know, right?
nothing will be finalized until next day.
Okay.
To complete Phase 5 of the Aldine Park improvement. Project scope consists of poured rubberized safety surface, new 12-foot by 12-foot shelter, replace portion of existing old chain link fence with new steel picket fencing, new benches, picnic table, trash receptacles, drinking fountain, irrigation system, adding on to the existing system, including the installation of site drainage, site regrading, concrete sidewalk for additional ADA accessibility, plus other miscellaneous concrete items and final site restoration. That would consist of the final phase of that. And then on part of the 5-year plan also, we have improvements to the source system, which is basically what we've set up in case of major sewer breaks during the year. And once again, we don't have to declare an emergency in the municipal budget. We have that money set aside in capital to be able to take care of that. And then we have our parking lots. Out in 2020, the Chestnut Street parking lot, the gazebo lot. I'm sorry, I'm just reading it in order, but it's going backwards in years. Then the OEM parking lot, which is the one back here, and then the front parking lot will be the first one to start off with in the 17. So that's what we're looking at on the engineering scope of it, breaking it out. For 2016, it looks as if it's $1,303,500, but out of that we have $180,000. $180,000 DOT grant, $160,000 CDBG grant, $50,000 Dade County infrastructure grant, and $60,000. So $853,500 would be debt on that engineering if it's left as is. So, and then if we reduce out, if we're able to reduce out the other 78,000 roughly, we're looking at 775,500 in this as is for now, just so you have some ideas. So that's what that looks at, like. Anybody have any questions there? Okay. Have anything else you need to add, Mark?
No, that's it.
That's good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your consideration.
And obviously, we'll be having another meeting. If we need you to come back in, we'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I did. Oh. Oh, okay, all right. Okay. Night.
Chief, how are
Good
you?
evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Lieutenant?
What's up, Mark?
Good luck.
How are you?
Thanks. Get a lot of money?
Thanks.
Lieutenant? Detective? You get to share
Thank
one
you.
of the lieutenants.
Fantastic. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Just so you guys are aware, we don't have a quorum. Two council people had family situations, and one is in class taking an exam. The mayor should be here hopefully in 15 minutes or so. He's at a county meeting accepting a grant for the borough. So no official decisions can be made because we do not have a quorum. So this is basically just a presentation of your 5-year plan. I'm gonna read through the descriptions real quick and then turn it over to you to explain some things if the council has any questions or you want to elaborate on anything further. Their 2016 request is a 4-wheel drive Chevy Tahoe equipped with emergency equipment for $60,000. And they have an employee scheduling and attendance system for $30,000. 2017 is a 38 replacement 40 caliber Glock handgun duty weapons for $20,000 and a mobile license plate reader for $25,000. 2018 is a mobile license plate reader for $25,000 and 4 AR-15 M4 rifles for $25,000. 2019 is a Brutus 4-wheel all-terrain vehicle for $35,000 and a solar-powered Arrow signboard for $10,000. In 2020, a 4-wheel drive Chevy Tahoe equipped with emergency equipment for $80,000.
Okay, 2016, the Tahoe, Chevy Tahoe, that would be a supervisor's vehicle. We currently have the supervisors in an Explorer. Supervisors carry specialized emergency equipment to assist patrol on different situations within the town. I cannot be specific on what that equipment is, however, there's an issue with it fitting in the Explorer. This is why we are requesting a Tahoe, as many other jurisdictions around us have done. We can comfortably fit all of the emergency equipment in that, so it would be readily available on the road if needed by patrol officers. The employee scheduling, this is a system that would save many man-hours. Right now, we have Lieutenant Dima does the scheduling. He does it manually. He not only does police department scheduling, he also does outside scheduling, comp days off, holiday days off. It entails a lot of manpower. Lieutenant Dima can expand on that, just how this will save us money, also save us overtime costs.
So the chief explained that we use a system, antiquated system. It's an Excel spreadsheet that we've been using since the late 90s. I generate numerous copies on a daily basis, which takes up hours and hours of my time. So the system that we are proposing to use is used by over half the police departments in Union County, over 70 in the state. Without a doubt, it will be a heck of a lot more efficient in many ways. It manages crossing guard scheduling, police officer scheduling, dispatchers, certifications for training, notifications for our outside job details. It's an all-in-one, it's a great product from all the other police agencies that I spoke to. In addition, it'll take the data for our payroll and we can automatically upload that to our vendor.
Is this just software, or is it hardware, or is it a combination of?
It's cloud-based software.
Okay. Okay, 2017, we've put in for replacement duty handguns. We have 40 caliber Glock handguns. They're well past their life expectancy. The manufacturer, Glock manufacturer, recommends that these guns be traded in after 8 years of use. They go by the amount of rounds that have been fired through them. So the amount of rounds that have been fired through our weapons, actually, they should have been traded in 6 years ago. The guns are now 11 years old. We've had to replace many parts on these guns. We do have certified armorers within the police department who do this work for us. It's detailed work. It takes quite some time to do it, man hours. My concern is malfunction in the weapons at some point. So I would like to follow Doc's recommendation and do the trade-in. With the trade-in, it is $20,000 for 38 handguns. The mobile license plate reader, LPR, as it's referred to, we currently have one on one of our patrol vehicles. It's a great tool. It records every license plate that goes by the vehicle, front and rear. We've used it in several investigations. We're currently using it now in an active investigation. This device will not only read the plate, it will also take a picture of the plate, and it takes a picture of the car and stores it. We also share this information with surrounding agencies. Any agencies that have this same software type of LPR, we're able to pull their data as well when we're looking for vehicles, which we are doing currently in an open investigation at this time. It's a great tool. I think the more LPRs we have on the road, it makes our guys' job that much easier. It's extra eyes on the road. It stores a lot of data, and it has come in quite handy in several investigations.
Chief, is that something that is just automatically on all the time that your, a car is out there, a vehicle is out there, or?
Correct. The officer, when he gets in the car, he'll sign on to the system. And every car that passes that patrol car will be recorded on that LPR. It also will send an alert if there's a suspended driver. If the owner has to be the registered owner of the car, it will sound an alert on the officer's laptop that that car is wanted for some reason. Same thing if somebody has an active warrant, there will be an alert that goes to the officer's laptop. It's a very useful tool.
And how long does this store for?
Right now, we're able to go back from the very beginning. There's 18 agencies within the 21 within the county that have this same system that's we're able to retrieve. So like the chief said, we're doing an investigation now, and I'm pulling plates and images from early 2014. So as long as it's running on those days, that information stays, because it's the same thing. It's not kept anywhere in anyone's specific agency. It's cloud-based, so the storage is theoretically infinite.
Thank you.
Did you bring material?
I did.
We actually have some material you can look at, how it takes a picture of the car, how it stores the license plate, and the information.
So as the chief explained, it runs, once an officer gets in the car, it has to be signed on to, but it runs automatically. And in the background, without any input or anything from the officer, any vehicle that passes in either direction, because there's multiple cameras, it takes a photo, as he said, it zooms in on the license plate, then reads that license plate, compares it to several databases, including felony persons, vehicles, missing persons, and so forth. On the back end, what we do is when we have an investigation, we can run a report, and we can either enter a license plate that we're looking for. So if we have a partial plate or an exact plate, we can enter that plate. It'll give us basically an Excel spreadsheet with the plate, the date that it was read, what agency, like for instance, this is Hillside Police Department, January 21st, 2015 at 6:24 a.m. An image of the plate and an image of the car. These are, I don't know if you can see it, but these are nighttime. This would be a daytime. Then that's a possible hit for us. I can actually zoom in the photograph and either confirm or refute whether it's an exact match to the type of vehicle we're looking for. So it's similar manner in the types of vehicles. And it also gives the longitude and latitude, and it gives us an image of the exact location. So we can actually see if the car is moving, or where it's parked, and it takes parked vehicles too, and we could actually see it. And then over time, which is what we do, we run reports to see where this vehicle can or has been traveling or is parked late at night. And then we can, you know, if the DMV information is not correct, because the person hasn't changed their address, we can actually find the location of where that car is.
Is this something you currently have and you're seeking to have?
Additional.
Additional ones?
Correct. We've had one since the county, actually Homeland Security provided a grant to the county. The county provided that to, like I said, 18 agencies within Union County. We've used it many times. We actually had, last year we had a great scenario where we had actually an endangered missing elderly person. And from our jurisdiction, the officer put the plate into the database, and a couple hours later, he actually got a hit that the car had been there. He looked at the vehicle, was able to see it, and then searched the area. And it's pretty much immediate, you know, within seconds, you'll get the alert. It's that quick. It's something that a human couldn't do as quick to look at the plate, recognize it, run it against the database. And we were able to locate the individual and, you know, reunite him with his family. So we usually always have several ongoing investigations. But again, it's only one plate reader on one vehicle. There are agencies that have multiples, and they're coming out with better versions, and ones that are movable, and we can put them in stationary locations.
Okay.
Okay, we're also requesting in 2018 4 additional M4 rifles. These are high-powered rifles that will be used in an active shooter situation. We currently do have M4 rifles and have a specialized team of officers who are trained on the use of those rifles in active shooter situations. All officers are trained in active shooter situations. However, this team is a specialized unit who will deploy the M4 rifles in an active shooter situation. We found in the 2 storms that we had, Irene and Sandy, with all debris in the roadway and sidewalks and basin areas, it was hard for regular cars to get around. This type of vehicle would allow us to actually store things in that. If we needed to bring equipment somewhere or remove somebody from an area that had all fallen debris, this vehicle would get in there much better than a regular vehicle. A lot of departments have gone to these type of vehicles because of that. And unfortunately, it seems like we're getting a lot more storms than we have in the past. Also a solar-powered arrow signboard. We use these signs in storms again. We use the signboards, the arrows, when we have to change traffic patterns. Sandy and Irene, traffic was an absolute mess, how we had to divert different traffic, and these signs are very helpful. A lot of times people don't see cones or they don't know which way to turn. These arrow boards are a big asset when changing the traffic patterns. And also again, in 2020, we would request an additional Chevy Tahoe to be replace the 2016 Tahoe and give the supervisors a new Tahoe, and the old Tahoe would then be used in patrol. And that is it for my 5-year plan.
Anybody have any questions?
The difference on the 60,000, the 80,000 is simply what your
That's an
anticipated
estimate.
price will rise.
Fortunately, they don't go down.
That you really know.
Anybody else?
Yeah, the mobile license plate reader, how many, if you wanted to equip all the trucks with them, how many would you need?
I don't want to give that actual number.
Okay, sorry.
But I would say, I would be, very pleased with if we had, say, 5 license plate readers.
This is the price for one?
That's the price we want,
Anybody else? Any Anything else? All right, thank you, Chief. We're gonna move on to your OEM now. 2016, that's your section E, sorry. Emergency AM radio station with FCC licensing, 30,000. 3 Honda generator, 2,000 watts, 5,000. 2017 generator light tower for 15,000. 2017 solar powered arrow board for 10,000. 2018 a cellular solar powered message sign board for 25,000. 2019 is a communications console installed for 80,000. And 2020 is 10 Honda generators, 2,000 watts for 25,000.
Okay, 2016, the emergency AM radio station with the FCC license, which we have already obtained. We would just have to move forward with doing the actual radio station. However, we would have to do it this year because our license would expire, correct, Rich, at the end of this year? We found that in Irene and Sandy again, that we use the first alert, TV 34, power went out, so the TVs were out. All we had was the first alert. There were many residents who were not getting that. The AM, emergency AM radio station would give us the ability to communicate with residents much easier. All we need is an AM radio, and we can put all of the information out. A lot of towns have gone to this. Roselle, I believe, has a license, correct? Clark has a license. I believe Rollway has a license. I think, this would be a big asset in emergencies, especially to our older people in the community. A lot of them don't have cell phones. If they do, don't know how to operate a lot of it. I don't know myself even.
The emergency AM, the kind that you can
The crank type.
crank or
Right.
if you were
And
having
this
batteries, I
would-
mean, at least there's an option.
And I think it would keep people a little more at ease also, if you have no communication and you have no idea what's going on in a major storm, especially when you're elderly. I mean, it's scary. And I think they would provide comfort to them as well if they were getting communications from the police department and Office of Emergency Management. We're also asking for 3 additional Honda generators. We use these generators, there are residents in town who have special needs and they need power to their house, and certainly can supply that to them. We also use our generators on all of our traffic lights now. We have the power hookup where we just plug them in to the power box of the traffic light, and the traffic lights are able to operate. That's a big help to us, bringing the traffic lights back up. We're capable of doing all the traffic lights in town, other than on the state highway. The state unfortunately doesn't allow us to touch their traffic lights. In Sandy, we told them we had generators that we could hook up, and they absolutely would not allow us to hook up their lights.
I'm from the state here.
But we are able to power up all of our other traffic lights, and that's a big help for us. So we run a little low on generators sometime. How many do we have now?
Right now we have 8.
8. The additional generators, sometimes we have issues with generators and storms, they go down, so it's always helpful to have extra generators on hand. 2017 generator light tower, I don't know if all of you have seen them at different events. The lights that go up on the tower, they're operated by a generator. They're also a generator themselves where you can plug in to the light tower. But they also are very helpful. In storms, we put them in different places throughout town. We could certainly use another light tower.
How many do you have now?
Now we have 3.
3,
For OEM, OEM would ask for additional arrow board. Like I said, these are very helpful throughout town when we're changing traffic patterns. We really can't have enough of those when we have major storms and we're changing traffic patterns due to debris in the roadways. It certainly assists the motorists as to where they need to go. People become confused. 2008, a powered message signboard. We currently have one. We could certainly use another one to get messages out to the public. We do these for different reasons. We do them when it's, the state has different programs, seatbelt programs, texting programs. We use them in the summer and the winter when we have heating and cooling stations at the Casano Center to let the public know. However, we only have one signboard. We would have additional ones to put out through the town to get messages out to the community. It would be helpful. 2019, a communications console. We've talked about this for years. That would be placed in the OEM building over here. In the event there was ever an issue here with our communications, we will be able to divert over to OEM and continue police operations. In essence, we would have a whole another police department to go to in the event something were to happen here. That would be readily available, maintained, and able to just go to that building and continue police communications from that building. 2020, we're requesting 10 Honda generators. We would think by that point all the generators have met their life expectancy, so we would like to replace those generators. That is the 5-year plan for OEM.
Anybody, questions? Chief, anything else you want to say?
I think that's it.
All right, thank you very much. We'll be setting up another meeting. If the council wants to bring you back in or have any further questions, we will let you know. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I guess.
And just in the last section in your packet is section F. It's just some other areas. The clerk's office, they've been continuing to do the archiving. So we have $5,000 for each of the years over 5 years. Happy to say the co-affordable housing, this is our final year of the required $1 million, so final $200,000 there. And then our ongoing for all departments, computer equipment, just to make sure if any servers go down, we have the capability of replacing them immediately, and also to start building, because unfortunately with technology and the computers, they give us about 5 years and we start having to replace them, so we're going to be approaching that in, I think 2 to 3 years, so instead of getting hit all in one shot to try and build that up. And that's what we're looking at for right now. So my game plan for you would be is I will basically summarize all of 16 from everything for our next meeting, and then we start grinding where we can, what we want to do, set up our plan for focus strictly now on 16, and hopefully in another meeting or two be able to have that wrapped up to get the ordinance introduced. You know, ideally, the earlier we can get the ordinance introduced, especially for the road jobs, we wouldn't have to carry them over. You know, we'd get to finalize everything between the fall and early winter, and not have to late fall, early winter, and then early spring to finish. So that would be a goal to do. So that's what we're looking at there. So it's up to you guys legally. You don't have to do a public portion because it's not a quorum, but if you want to do a public portion, go into that, and then
And we need to set a date for the next.
yeah, and then we'll set a date after a public portion. because maybe at least the mayor will be back, and then at least have 4 kind of idea, you know.
Okay. I'm ready whenever.
We have a motion for a public portion.
I'd like to make a motion, have a public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public portion is now open.
So it appears in 150 Berwyn Street. I was reviewing the 2016 for the police department from last year, and I guess I know the body worn camera software was moved. Was it moved to 15 or 16?
The body worn cameras, we actually were in a pilot program, and the county prosecutor's office paid for them.
Right, but we have to pay.
We have to
For
pay
every
the
year
maintenance,
afterwards.
right.
Is that part of capital or is that
It's
operating?
operating.
Okay. The fire horn, is that listed for 2016 or 17?
I would have put it down as 16, and the governing body will discuss, and
And I see that a year has been added to everyone's 5 years, so now it goes up to 20, right?
right.
For the police department, last year they had the solar powered message board and the replacement of duty weapons for 40,000. Now when they came back, how much were they, how much was the software, by the way?
25, I think.
Software for the
Scheduling,
Scheduling.
30.
So how much is their capital request this year now, in total?
This year is 90.
Because it was originally 40 last year.
Well, they reversed.
They changed some things,
changed some
right?
things, right.
Also, the possible sewer project on Galloping Hill, is that included in this year's budget?
No, because we haven't done the study yet. The study's gonna take some time, so.
So that doesn't include the sewer issues you were speaking of for the capital?
No, that's for general
Sewer issues.
emergency breaks and things of that nature.
Just the ground in that plug is still stuck in there, so perhaps you might wanna have someone come just pull it out.
Oh, okay.
And also, while I was going outside, it says that the assessor's hours are Fridays.
Mhm.
In the summer, is the assessor still gonna be here on Fridays?
Yes, that's how it was last year also.
Perhaps just let the public know, because.
Usually what happens is she'll put a sign on the door with her number, so they.
I thought people, when they see that it's closed on Fridays, they'll just presume, oh, she'll be closed, but she will be here during those hours, okay.
We should communicate that.
We'll just confirm that with her, but
Yeah,
I
I
know
told
that's
her
what
to
she
give
did
me,
last year, and
yeah,
then
because
we'll
that's what she
just
did.
get that
We'll
right
post
underneath
the
it,
separate-
right?
Yep, absolutely.
We'll just make sure we put her number.
And this is the last year for the $200,000.
For COA, yes, this will be the 5th year, so that'll be our $1 million set aside.
And I guess going on to other issues, a couple months ago, there was $189,000 reserved for senior housing. At that time, I asked if that was gonna be enough to address the remediation. I was told that it was, but from my understanding, it looks like that's going to
That's
just.
actually for further studies.
Right, that's not for
It's not
the
for.
remediation at all,
Right, no.
which will be probably more expensive, $189,000.
Well, if you remember our ball fields, yes.
Okay. Other questions, the assistant superintendent, that for the DPW, is that position going to be filled?
It's budgeted to be filled. I know they have, there's an advertisement out. I forgot when that closes. It might actually, is it the end of the month,
I think it's the
maybe?
end of the month.
So then my question is, so let's just say someone's promoted from within, and you'll now have another position open, correct?
If somebody's promoted from within, correct.
But I guess that money is already budgeted,
Right.
right?
So that would just be
So we,
a
unless
move
there's
and then a replacement.
okay. Any answers to, maybe I could call the assessor on Friday to find out why it's being, the general assessment is at $253,000 when the realty funds.
I asked her about that and I didn't get a response
Okay.
back, so.
Maybe I'll call her Friday. And also, Just the 775,000 you had mentioned, I believe that was for engineering?
That was for engineering. When we take out what was in this plan itself, if we take out the grants, and then we would, if we take out the Casano Center course for now,
Okay,
and that would be
700.
775.
What was it budgeted at last year? Was it around the same amount?
For engineering?
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll look it up.
Wait,
It
wait,
was
wait,
just-
wait.
And another math question while you're doing that. As it stands, what will it bring our debt service to, which is, I guess, the payments?
I didn't go into that detail yet because I didn't
We don't know
summarize per year,
Everyone,
so.
okay. And then while that's happening, there was just a question at the library meeting regarding concrete, the pouring of concrete from the sidewalk to the book birdhouses. And wondering, the question was asked, who has the authority to authorize that? And no one in the library board could answer that. I was wondering who would know who's responsible, who is the final authority? Is it the board by a vote? Is it an individual? Is it council by resolution? Is it a superintendent?
I do not know, and I will find out.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
That's fine though.
You're roughly, it was around 735,000.
So it's about 40,000 more now.
Right. If it stays the way it is, I mean, that's,
And then once this is all done, then you'll do a debt service impact, right?
correct.
Which will impact next year's operating budget, because that's when the payments for whatever this is. My question was, for things, for work such as the library, if there were to be work done like concrete being poured to go to the book birdhouses, what body or what individual has the authority to authorize that? That was my question. I'm asking you, I guess, because you would know where the money goes.
I guess the question ultimately would be is, if it was being paid for, is it being paid for through the library's budget directly, or is it being paid through the capital budget? If it's the capital,
guess
it's,
that's-
you know, if it's the capital, it would be the governing body ultimately. I
And if
mean,
it's-
ultimately, the borough owns the building and the property. It's the ultimate decision.
It was just a question that was brought up and no one on the library board knew the answer, that's all. I mean, I'm not,
You know, the
Same
board
here.
can make a recommendation to the governing body can approve or deny, you know.
and have you done a comparison as to what was budgeted? I guess because the purpose of the 5-year outlook is to stay on that budget. Have you done a comparison as between what was said, what was requested last year and what is being requested this year?
Not yet, no.
Is that information available to the public? Like, was there like a write-out news sheet?
After I do it, it will be.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ed Leonard, 504 Laurel Avenue. I guess back on April the 7th, after the fire chief's discussion, his fire matters, Councilman Miola asked him about the status of the fire siren. And I was wondering, I guess you mentioned earlier tonight, it looks like this is really a fire department capital item, it's more of a building and grounds? That's the way I understand this now?
Well, it's kind of both, really. I mean, it's on the grounds
Right.
and it's fire department.
But the chief is still the point person on obtaining an estimate for this?
He would have to be, yes.
Okay, because
He knows the logistics of it, we don't know all the logistics.
well, he said at that meeting he would have something shortly. That was his kind of quote. Have you received anything from him yet?
Just the verbal.
And that was, it sounds like it was kind of
That was
last,
just this week.
today, okay. Okay, well, in terms of finalizing this, this still has an opportunity to be included in 2016, if in fact the council decides to go ahead with it?
Yeah, we've just been discussing 5-year, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, please, yeah.
Just been discussing the 5-year plans for introduction of whatever changes they've made from last year to this year.
Right.
Now we're gonna start finalizing 16, and we'll list it under 16, and the governing body will do their review and see where we wind up.
Right, right. And I guess the council, I'm sure
I
you're
mean,
gonna
whether
discuss
we
it.
put it under the fire department or buildings and grounds,
Right.
it's all borough money.
Well, I'm
so,
just wondering
you know,
who's
it's
kind of
just-
shepherding it through the process, who's the person that's gonna be really
Well, I mean, the
accountable?
chief has to be the point person on it because, you know, they know the equipment, they gotta know what the equipment ties into.
Right.
We don't know that detail, you know.
But you could put estimates into the capital budget, barring him having something concrete.
I mean, capital budget basically is an estimate. I mean,
Right.
it's, you know, we don't know for sure until we go out for bid for projects, you know,
Okay.
unless it's a state contract item that we know the exact thing and all the attachments that are going on it, we can kind of narrow it down. But then depending on when we finalize and when we actually go to award that, it could change based on the state contract of the timing of that, so it's why capital is usually always an estimate.
Right, okay. Yeah, well, I guess the council's intent, I guess, based on the vote last year, was to basically turn it off. That got kind of, you know, modified into a move situation, and I would hope the intent is still to at least strongly consider that, because if this is the end of probably a 4-year discussion process that's been going on about this, and it would certainly be, enhance the area in terms of noise and that kind of thing. And, you know, while we're on the subject of noise, I would certainly encourage you to kind of take a look at, you know, I guess a couple of years back, in the previous administration, noise was kind of a big issue in town, and I know Councilman Chipley was, you had a website about the helicopters and stuff now coming over from Merck, and there have been a number of issues, so, you know, noise abatement, I think, is something that really needs to be, you know, kind of in the forefront, even with the railroads and stuff like that. Some of the horns and stuff, I think, have gotten a lot louder, and my neighbors have noticed it too. So, any consideration for noise abatement issues would certainly be appreciated as well. This siren being one of them, it's something I think, you know, moving, it's probably the best solution at this point, and I would appreciate your consideration of that.
Thank you.
Joe DiOrio, 824 Larch Street. Just a couple of questions and comments regarding the trees. Are residents able to ask for trees? Is there an ongoing tree?
As long as it goes on the borough property, can't
Right.
ask for a tree to go in your backyard.
Thanks. That's good.
You'd be surprised. Although you probably shouldn't, being in all
I'm
your
not
positions.
surprised. I just didn't know if they were still available. And how does one go about doing that? Do they call?
Contact the DPW, or you can contact your council liaison, which, you know, and then the DPW keeps a list, so.
Okay. The absent.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna say, or play it safe, do both.
Right, that's a good idea. The software that the police department was asking for, the absentee/payroll/attendance software, do you know the name of that software? Sounded interesting.
Yeah, I almost asked him what it is and who makes it, but
Might just take that idea. And steal it, maybe.
still can't believe how expensive this stuff is.
Yeah.
30 grand?
Another $10 ad.
Well, I'm looking.
Yeah, really?
Unless you wanna just wait for a specific answer, but I don't wanna waste all your time.
Thank you, Ken. The AM station that was proposed, just from a personal experience, in Manasquan when Sandy came, and literally 60% of the town was underwater. The only thing that worked was landlines and AM stations, radios. So I would ask the County Body to put strong consideration. I think it's an excellent idea.
Just not to take away your time, but I was in, when they mentioned Roselle, I was in Roselle when that was all brought up and done.
Confiscated funds or law enforcement trust funds, would those be available to use against some of what the police department is asking for? I know they usually have to get permission. from
They
the prosecutor.
can, you gotta get permission from the prosecutors. It was a regular budgetary item, it has to be shown that it's approved, that it's rejected. I would have to defer to the prosecutor and chief.
Is there a repair schedule that the departments, not specific to DPW, but it came to light when Mark was talking about requesting vehicles? Something that the governing body could look at, and the public, where the list of inventory of all vehicles, including mileage information from year to year, and including a 5-year look back of repairs that were spent on those individual vehicles. It may help in making the decision whether to purchase a new vehicle, especially when in public works the vehicles are quite large in amount. Something to consider, and just carry that over with the police department, but usually the police departments will have something like that already. And that's it. You can cover it.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if I have that.
If not, after the meeting. Thanks.
Anyone else? Can I have a motion to then close the public portion?
I'd like to move to close the public portion.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
We don't have any, we're not doing a closed session. Can I have a motion to,
Well, we need to set a
oh,
date.
set a date first,
Oh,
okay.
sorry. I know Thursdays have been working great. Unfortunately, the 12th, I cannot be present. I was looking to do Wednesday, the 11th.
I will be out of town on business most of that week.
What else do we have?
I'll be back Thursday afternoon, that's the best I can do.
Yeah, Thursday, unfortunately, I cannot.
Oh gosh, we have a Friday the 13th.
We're budgeting on that day.
28th, the next meeting, the regular meeting's the 5th, do we have the budget? Does the Monday, are you out that week, you said, I'm sorry? Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I go out Monday afternoon.
The following week, I will be at a conference.
That's the municipalities conference, isn't it, that week, 15th, 16th, is that?
Tax collector and treasurer's.
Okay, yeah.
The 25th or 26th?
26th is better for me.
Does that work for you? It's a Thursday before Memorial Day week.
As of right now, it's good, I just have to check my schedule for Lily,
Okay.
but I think it's okay.
Well, how about, why don't we set it at the council meeting? Because maybe we'll have a better explanation, hopefully,
Yeah, we'll have more
you know, we'll have a bigger
Yeah.
crowd, and this
So
way.
we're tentatively then looking at the 25th or 26th?
Yeah.
Okay.
When do we need to have this in by?
I mean, it's, nothing's set in stone, but I was hoping to try and introduce it maybe beginning of June, but we won't be able to do that, if we have this meeting all the way into 25th or 26th.
Well,
At least if we can
everyone else can
introduce
make
it at the second meeting,
If everyone,
you know, if everyone else can make the
that
11th.
other meeting,
you know, we'll throw all the dates out there and we'll go with the biggest, you know, majority we can
Right,
get,
exactly.
and then,
If you're awake, could you call in?
what did we say, the Wednesday?
yeah,
Or the Tuesday?
11th.
It's the Tuesday, the Wednesday might be possible, yeah. The Wednesday's the schedule, the Tuesday's the schedule.
Well, we'll throw all the dates out at the meeting on the 5th
Yeah.
and see what we can get the biggest majority for. And we'll work it that way. And
We're done.
I mean, at least if we could do it, try and get it introduced for at least the
Yeah,
second
well, I
meeting
mean,
in
if you
June,
send- if
then
I
we
get-
can start
if you
doing
send me
awards
the-
and,
the-
you know.
The
Yeah.
paperwork and so on.
Yeah,
I can always
absolutely.
ask you, come in and ask you any questions.
Absolutely. All right, so
Okay.
we'll set the meeting on the 5th then.
Okay.
Everybody's on this way, hopefully we'll have more people and everybody's being a little back to.
Did you have enough to do business?
No. Well, we weren't gonna have to do, we were just listening to the Department of Public Works, and Buildings and Grounds, Engineering, and Police and OEM's 5-year plans, so we just listened and let them explain things, ask the questions that they had, and in our next meeting, we're gonna just single down to 2016 and start.
When's your next meeting?
We're gonna discuss it on the 5th.
Oh, okay.
Because hopefully we'll have, well, hopefully have full council and kind of go with the majority. Okay?
Or we'll do it Friday the 13th.
So can I motion to adjourn?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, folks.
Did you come back with